Hi David, Phil Beever here from the Wilderness Club. Just want to recap on our lesson this morning. So this swing is, it's a little bit halfway through the swing, but we can already see here halfway back the hands for me are a little bit deep in the swing at this point here. If we look here on the right of Adam Scott, and earlier on I compared you to somebody else, Alex Noren, we can see when they get to the same position as you, the shaft one is set in a different position, but two, the main thing to look at really is the hands. Hands are much more in front compared to yours. Yours are a lot more further back in the swing, okay? And what that does, David, it just means that when you swing it to here, most pros from where Adam is now, their arms will start to work up rather than carry on turning. And for you, David, you keep turning. You can see you just keep rotating that shoulder, and that gets you in a very narrow and a little bit flat and deep position. I mean, there's no room for this elbow. It's very tucked in, and the hands are never get above your head. If we look at Adam's swing, we're going to see when he gets to the top of his swing, look at his arms. They're above his right shoulder. There's a little tiny triangle here of daylight. There's a very small one with you, but the main thing is his hands are above his head. He's got width, okay? But the big key is his arms are in front of his body. Now, what I mean by that is if we draw a line on the butt of the club, I can't seem to draw straight lines, not too bad, and draw a line on the butt of your club, we're going to see that yours is a little bit more behind. I know the lines aren't perfectly straight, where Adam's is in the middle of his shoe. And that's purely because as he swung it back, Adam, he's literally, just like I said, his arms have started to go up a bit more like an elevator. Now, David, if we look at yours again, as you start down, you're going to fall down what I'd call into the perfect slot. Left arm parallel with the floor, so parallel with your shoe line, and the club cuts through your right forearm. If we look at Adam Scott, we're going to see exactly the same. He'll get into that same position for me there. Good. And shaft's fantastic again. So very, very similar. But yours tends to drop a little bit too underneath the plane line, and that's causing your club to attack the ball a little bit too much on the inside. And we can see coming into impact here. Now watch these arms for me, David. They're going to sort of go this way. So they're going away from you a lot. And because of that, the club face is flipping. So we can see now when the club cuts out in your body, it's coming out at this angle. But if we look at the face, we can see the face is pointing straight to the ground. If we look at Adams, his club drops slightly under plane, but back on top of it very quickly. But because it's a bit more in front, we can see one, he's coming out in a different angle, but two, the club face is now pointing that way. So he's got some loft on it. So yours is just having to make a compensation. You know, the more upright we can get you, the less your hands are going to have to work underneath and then flip. And obviously with my clients, I like to see the hands not work very hard at all. So just feel that your hands are a bit more in this position. So a bit more there, David, in front of that. I gave you an analogy. If I put you against a wall there, we can see early on in the swing you'd have taken the wall out. So try and stand with your butt against the wall and try and lift the club up a little bit more in the swing. As you start down, yes, you would clip the wall, so don't worry about the downswing so much. When we started to hit a couple, we started to get the face being a bit more neutral, which is great. And that's pretty much it at the moment. Just work on that. It gets the club a bit more in line. With the driver, you tend to move these arms out this way. You tend to just pull out a little bit where you're eager to hit it. So with the driver, I wanted the feeling that when you got to the top of the swing, you just allowed your arms to drop down in this position for a split second, and then David could go at it and give it a rip. But you must wait that little fraction longer for me, David. Otherwise, really good swing. Let's get those arms up in front a little bit more. Let's get the club a bit more in line on the way down. Less hand action, then we can turn and compress it, and all will be very good.